the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming.
Good morning. Look around, see the crowd that's gathered. I'm Beth Ruyak. I'm the host of Insight on Capital Public Radio, and we are here at the 27th Annual Caltrans Workers Memorial on the 27th day of April in the year 2017. We are in the midst of a sea of orange. There are orange shirts, orange hats, orange ribbons and roses and pins, and for each fallen worker there is an orange cone in the diamond formation today. This time, this day is dedicated to each person represented by a cone, but it's also dedicated to all of you, the family members who have joined us today. You came here to remember and to be together, and we want this day to be about your experience as well, and know that you are part of a big family. You're always remembered, and even when you're not with us, we send you comfort. And now, if you would please welcome Caltrans Director Malcolm Doherty.
Well, first, I want to thank Beth. Beth always serves as our mistress of ceremonies, and she does a great job each and every year. And to each of the families and to the friends, I thank you for being here and joining us. And on behalf of Caltrans and all the Caltrans employees who are here, I offer our sincere condolences to each of you once again. We gather here today with members of the Caltrans family from all across the state. And we have each of our district directors here as well to support you and to honor your loved ones for the sacrifice that they have made, not only to Caltrans, but to the people of California and to the state of California. 187 cones, each representing a coworker, a loved one who has lost their life in the line of duty dating back to 1921. This is the sixth time I've had the opportunity to stand here and address you in this forum, and it's one of the hardest things that I have to do. Today we honor and remember each of those individuals represented by the cones in front of us, but specifically we will focus on those who have lost loved ones in the past year, and unfortunately our array of cones will grow. Today we honor Caltrans electrician Jorge Lopez, who was struck and killed by a big rig on State Route 14 near Palmdale on September 1st, 2016. His wife, Leticia, his children, Daniela, Roberto, and Adriana are here. His sister, Olga Diaz, and brother and sister-in-law, Miguel and Socorro Savela, are here to honor him, and we thank you for being here. We are also honoring Caltrans electrician Randy Winsenhunt from Escondido, who died October 9, 2016 as a result of injuries that he suffered on the job, and his wife Dee Dee, his sons Alan and Chris, and daughter Randy are here as well. And earlier this week, we had a tragedy in Caltrans in District 1 on the North Coast, where we lost 2 Caltrans employees, an incident that shocked and saddened all of us. And no one expects that this could happen to them. No organization thinks that it could happen to them, where violence in the workplace impacts us so deeply and affects us so personally. That incident claimed the lives of District 4 structural steel painter supervisor Annette Brooks and District 4 lead structural steel painter Terry Hayes. And I had the opportunity prior to this event starting to talk to the steel painters out of District 4. Whatever the circumstances, violence never belongs in the workplace. And whether it's alongside the highway or in the workplace, the pain is still the same, and 2 of our coworkers are gone. And it hurts, and 2 families are devastated. And we must continually rethink safety and improve our efforts for all of our employees and for their families. And we owe that to each of the individuals that's represented by a cone in front of us. And this event allows us to reset that dedication to safety for all our employees. The cones you have seen placed in the shape of a caution sign representing each of the 187 Caltrans employees is a reminder to us of why we need to be safe. And the men and women who work on the highways help protect the motoring public and keep them safe, and it's reasonable for us to ask them to work with us to keep us safe and make sure everyone goes home to their families at the end of every day. Thank you again for being here to help us recognize these individuals.
I'm honored to be here today to join you again in recognizing the great sacrifices and tremendous commitment to public service that Caltrans workers make every day in California. You know, this winter put Caltrans crews to the test. Strong winter storms wreaked havoc on our roads and on our bridges. Around-the-clock efforts still continue today in several parts of the state as we work to recover from the damage done to our state highways. Each day that work goes on, Caltrans workers risk the known hazards of repairing our roads with traffic operating just feet away. I want to thank the men and women of Caltrans for your efforts keeping Californians safe and keeping our state moving. In 2015, 68 workers and motorists died in California work zones. This year, we pay special tribute to 57-year-old Caltrans electrician Jorge Lopez. Mr. Lopez, a 16-year Caltrans veteran, died on September 1st, 2016, after being struck by a big rig that crossed the shoulder on State Route 14 in Palmdale. Today, we are also honoring Caltrans Escondido Yard electrician Randy Wisenhunt. Working for Caltrans is a family business. His son serves as a District 11 maintenance worker, and Randy died on October 9th, 2016 as a result of injuries suffered on the job. I want to express my heartfelt condolences to Mr. Lopez's family and to Mr. Wisenhunt's family and to many other families who are here today and have suffered great loss. I certainly honor the commitment of your loved ones. As we honor the 187 Caltrans workers killed on the job since 1921, we also thank the 19,000 plus Caltrans workers who help make our streets and highways safer each and every day. Work zone safety is in all of our hands. Stay alert, help protect our workers so they can come home to their loved ones and their families. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Once again, I'm here to honor and to be with you today to pay tribute to the Caltrans workers and their families. And I had an opportunity to talk to the Lopez family and pay my respect and let them know that their loss is like my loss. I lost my daughter, and we'll always be connected. But today I'm going to be brief because as Malcolm and Brian have definitely covered all the pertinent info, with the passage of SB 1, about $4 billion more will hit the street in the form of increased maintenance activities and road repair projects, which will give you the tools you need to make the roads safer in California. I want to thank the Highway Patrol for helping protect not only the motoring public, but on construction projects, the Caltrans workers and the contractors. Let's look forward next year for all us gathering back here to report a perfect safety record. Thank you.
I'm really humbled to be up here today and see all the faces of everyone. Especially, I know you're in the back there, but you are the ones that are risking your lives on a daily basis, and I definitely would like to thank you for a job that you probably very rarely get thanked for. Well, as the president of Professional Engineers in California government, it is my honor to be here to pay tribute to our fallen workers. Today, we pause to honor those that have made the ultimate sacrifice while serving the public. We thank you all for being here today and offer our deepest condolences to the family members and the loved ones who have gathered on this important occasion. Like too many Caltrans employees, I recently felt the loss of one of my colleagues and one of my friends, Mr. Oscar Vargas, a Caltrans engineer in District 11. The notifications and the press coverage that occur every time something like this happens is definitely a sobering reminder to all of us of the possible dangers we face in our day-to-day jobs. God bless those we've lost and their families. And although this event only occurs once a year, you're always in our hearts, in our minds, and in our prayers. God bless and thank you.
I think it's fair to say that no matter where you work in Caltrans, this has been a year to remember. So many people throughout Caltrans have done so much with so little for so long. I think we should probably call it, instead of civil service, civil sacrifice. On the cold, clear morning of December 22nd, the Whitmore maintenance crew was out sweeping on Interstate 80. Without warning, the backup truck was struck by an errant vehicle driving at a high rate of speed. The operator immediately felt intense pain in his back and his hip as if he had been struck with a sledgehammer. The moving operation pulled off to the side of the road to check on damage. The errant driver did not feel like being checked, so he attacked another Caltrans operator with the screwdriver. He then jumped over the guardrail and ran off into the forest. It was 25 degrees. He was wearing a t-shirt and jeans, smelled strongly of alcohol. He hasn't been heard from since, and I mean that literally. Sam has been off work and in considerable pain since that day. He had back surgery last Friday, and he's expected to make a full recovery in 12 to 16 weeks. This latest incident has left him reconsidering his career. He's hoping to become an instructor where he can share his experience and love of the outdoors just a little bit farther off the roadway. I encourage you to become an ambassador for safe driving and work zone safety. Tell your family and friends about the need to slow down and be alert while driving, not just for our safety, but for the safety of tow truck drivers, law enforcement, fire, and the motoring public. We create a better future for all of us when we do our best to improve safety. There is no better to honor and remember our fallen workers than by doing our best. Thank you, and be safe.
From District 7, Jorge Lopez's family has decided that they are able to share some of their feelings, their memories today. It's not something that I will tell you most family members are able to do, especially so soon. But I'd like to invite to the podium Roberto and Daniela Lopez, and they do have some messages that they'd like to share with us today. And we give them a lot of latitude in doing this because they will be speaking from their heart in a way, as I said, they never expected to be doing.
I would like to start off by, on behalf of my mother and my family, we like to thank everybody who's here today and who was there for us in that horrible day. I remember my dad always being a humble individual. He was always a hard worker, but he always reminded us, you give thanks. You give thanks for everything that you have and everything that you don't have. And to all the Caltrans workers out there, thank you. Thank you for being that reminder when I'm out in the streets. Reminds me of my dad every time I see a white truck. I don't know why, but it brings a smile to my face. So I want to thank all of you for that. I remembered my dad was a very happy individual, and he always pushed for our education. And when he blessed me with helping me to pursue my nursing career, me and him would always have great conversations about what I did and who I helped and how I helped them. But after the accident, I made a strong commitment to one day become an ER nurse so I can help others, other families take their loved ones home and be part of that. And I want to thank Caltrans and everybody here because you guys helped me make that decision. And once again, for my part, from Leticia, my mother, my sister Adriana, my older sister Daniela, myself, thank you.
I stand here before you today and I see a sea of orange. And I feel the love that we Caltrans as a family have. My dad always talked about work and what a big family it was. He was a great storyteller. So I would know a lot of his coworkers through his stories. By the time I saw them, I knew who was who because of that. And he was very proud to work for Caltrans. I remember the first day he started working, he came back. He stood a little taller, and every light and every sign he pointed out to us. He took us for a drive, my brother, my sister, and me. And he reminded us of the importance of his job. He saw the meaning of his job. He saw the importance that he, as an electrician, made in the world. He taught us that a job is not just means to money for your rent, for your survival. It means more than that. And he decided to join the Caltrans family because he wanted to work for the state that had given him so much. I also want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who helped us out this year. We went through our first Christmas and our first Thanksgiving this year, and it was one of the most difficult things we've had ever faced. Midnight struck, and we gave each other a hug. But there was one specifically that I waited for, that I had known was not going to come. But it was in that moment that I remembered the kind words that were given to us. That I remember my dad's word. He taught me to be grateful. And I said to myself, this year you have to be grateful. You have a lot to be grateful for. I went over to my mom's room and I pulled out the folder and the letters that we got from each and every one of you. And that's what got us through. And I said, I am extremely grateful to have such a big family. My family was a family of 5. And today I have this sea of orange. And every time, like my brother says, every time we see you, we think of Daddy. Every time we see you, we think of the love and the commitment that you take every day to make this state safer. The selfless job that you take to help all of us. On behalf of my mom, my brother, my sister, my aunt, who is here as well, and my uncle, I thank you for all of the love and all the support and everything that you do to bring awareness to make sure that everybody comes back home safe. Thank you.
Daniela and Roberta, thank you very much for those words. It gives me great pleasure to actually introduce the next individual, but first this is where I wanted to take the opportunity to thank the California Transportation Foundation for everything that they do in supporting Caltrans families and others in the transportation community at times of need. But they also raise a lot of money for scholarships. And we have a particular scholarship, the Caltrans Fallen Workers Memorial Scholarship, which will go to Daniela and Roberto's sister, Adriana Lopez. And I'd like to invite Adriana Lopez up here to present her with the Caltrans Fallen Worker Memorial Scholarship. So there's actually a check in here, so don't lose it. And it's a scholarship for $2,000, so congratulations.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody from Caltrans. Like my siblings have said, you guys have been so helpful, and you guys have been such a good support system for us. And what I'd like to share with you guys today is just the importance of how my dad implemented, how important it is to have a good education and how important it is to continue on with that. I remember when I would have difficult times, I would always ask my dad for advice. I'm like, Dad, what would you do? Or how would you see this situation? And he would always tell me, he's like, sometimes you just got to do it. Or just don't be afraid of the world, you know? You just have to try it out. Don't be afraid and insecure about yourself. And I think I take that to heart. And like my sister said, that my dad was a very humble guy. And not only was he very humble, but he was always very helpful to those who helped him. If you helped him out, he made sure that he would pay you back tenfold. He would be there whenever somebody needed help, and he would always put others before himself. So one thing that I always take with me about my dad is that he always told me, if you have knowledge, you need to share that with other people, and you need to help educate other people so you can help them move on. And I'd like to say thank you so much, and I also want to say thank you to the CHP and to the other side contractors who are working alongside with Caltrans. I know it's a very dangerous job, and I'd like to thank you guys.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first